Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I've got some pro-level 1v1 coverage coming up this afternoon, chaps, and as you will soon discern from the scrolling title, that coverage is taken from some random tourney. That's right, we like to do our research here at Gyle Cast, cross all the T's, dot the I's, underline the 7s and whatnot. To be fair, I just spoke to Brainwashed not 5 minutes ago. I said, dude, what tourney was this from? And he couldn't tell me. He played in the thing. So cut me some slack, Jack. Don't know what that accent's about. But anyway, on to today's game. Like I say, it's going to be a 1v1, and it's all going to go down on Iceland's, baby. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. So we'll take a look at our players in just a moment. Iceland's we're all pretty familiar with, but it has been a while since we casted it. You've got these 3 starting locations. If this was going to be a 3v3, of course, this is a 1v1. Lots of reclaim dotted in around the fringes of the map. You've got these 2 plateaus on either side, and of course this rather handy section of mass in the middle that is well, I suppose protected by these 4 corner pieces. Let's take a look at our players then. That's the map taken care of. Up here at the top in electric blue, it's none other than my good friend Brainwashed, or as we affectionately know him, Washy, going the very attractive, good-looking and noble UEF in electric blue. Said that already. Going first land, second air, I believe, and then third land. And his opponent down here, it's Rise of the Germans today, Koecher in mellow yellow. He's misclicked and gone cyber in opening first land. So German on German today. People might be wondering, if you're new to this game, why on earth are there so many Germans? Well, I don't know, but I can tell you it's probably because Sopcom is all about balancing economies, and Germans love that stuff. So that's why it is. This game is intrinsically built for the German psyche. It is just the way it goes. Anyway, taking a look at the initial units coming off the conveyor belts, it looks like a mainly expansionist route for Washi, at least in the early stages. Nothing but engineers for now, but we have got a lab rolling off there for Koecher and heading north, so a little bit of aggression coming out there from our yellow player, and another lab, 2 hunters, both of which are going to be moving up here and on the hunt for engineers, one flanking out to the right, and the other is going to zigzag through the middle and hit up this location on the left, hoping to pick off, of course, at least one engineer. And you might think, well, is that really worth it? You're going to lose expansion time down here? Yes, because these labs are incredibly cheap and quick to produce. And if you kill off an engineer, well, it's trundled all the way over here. You kill off one just as it gets here. You're essentially maybe adding another couple of minutes for another engineer to get out here and build these mechs. That's a lot of extra mass you're denying your opponent, so it really can make a difference. Anyway, newbies, take note. But Washi has not gone completely undefended. He's produced a combat scout and a striker to take care of this little buddy here, this little engineer, and a little bit of micro there from Koecher keeps that hunter alive, at least for the moment. And he then says, screw you guys, I'm going home. Look at that. Running away, on fire, very nice indeed, manages to keep it alive, just 9 hit points left. Someone could sneeze on that thing and it would go up in flames, but anyway, not for the moment. Koecher keeps that puppy alive. More importantly though, Washi keeps the engineer alive, and he's able to go about his business. We've also got defensive units rolling out here for the expanding engineer here from Washi that wants to take this western starting location. Of course, there's another lab lying in wait. We've actually got 2 snoops on the field, and Washi's once again going to relocate that other lab and go running after it. He's not going to catch it though. I think he needs to rethink that. Koecher trying to, no doubt, embed that somewhere there at the back here. He's going to hide in the forest and hopefully take down an engineer on a reclaim mission. My guess is probably on this little chappie here. Terribly, terribly sad. He won the lottery last week, and he's not going to get a chance to enjoy any of it. But a mantis, yes indeed, a mantis coming out the middle. That's going to fall foul of Washi's comm. And we have got some aircraft out on the field for both players. A scout and a bomber for both players, and an interceptor defending there for Koecher. Washi gonna drop some bombs, but a little bit of micro there from Koecher is gonna keep that engineer alive. 93 hit points to his name, and we're gonna see that interceptor redirected. Yes, we are. Koecher's gonna bring that back and hopefully, for his sake, shoot down that bomber. And it looks like a little bit of combat went down here. I'm going to guess that was a scout. And that was the lab that died shortly after. So Washi in good shape still on the expansion side of things. And actually ahead, 32 mass to 25 in eco. And then, of course, Curse of the Commentator comes into play, drops down to 27 apiece. But it looks like he's in good shape nonetheless, despite that early aggression from Koecher. Steady stream of units now from Washi coming out down the eastern side of the map. Going to run into a couple of Mantis on the way up. That Striker's going to die off pretty quickly, and Koecher's actually moved his ACU out to the eastern starting location, so he's not going to get any traction there. Washi's going to back up and rethink that whole scenario. Washi actually moving forward with his comm as we speak. Going to throw down a land factory there, get the all important adjacency bonus on that forward mech. So let's take a look at general production capacity. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, soon to be 5 land factories in the core base, 2 more on the way on the left there for Washi, and 1 up front. Comparing the 1, 2, 3 in the core there for Koecher, 2 online, soon to be a 3rd and a 4th there at the west, with another one 5th and 6th over here in the east. So all progressing relatively normally. Another line of troops coming northwards of Koecher up the western edge of the map. And that Striker just taken out as the Mantis goes pop, leaves it 1 T1 unit a piece. And that Engineer in the middle with his mass point and radar, probably not going to see the spring come in on this map. He's surely doomed. Let's see if Koecher redirects him. Looks like he's going to. Mass essentially more important at the moment than the life of just one Engineer. Cyberin's terribly fatalistic about all of this kind of thing. Little run by there from Washi, trying to get in around the back of Koecher's base. I think the only thing that's potentially going to survive is 1 Snoop and 1 pretty severely damaged Striker. 116 hit points left on that chappie. Down into the red. And down he goes. 1 Snoop left. Not going to do much damage with that. And I wonder if that's the same Engineer. That Hunter we saw from earlier was parked up here, and Koecher just needed to move it across to kill off, I think, this Engineer. But I'm guessing that Striker there with the 1 kill on protective Engineer duty. It's actually quite a bad place to get stationed. You can imagine cabin fever setting in quite badly in those woods. Not ideal at all. A little push in the east. Couple of units of build capacity falling foul of that group of Mantis as they make their way northwards up the edge of the map. Washi coming in to intercept with a couple of Strikers, but doesn't have enough on the field. They're going to make some progress into the inner reaches of Washi's territory. Washi making a grab for the eastern plateau. The western still yet to be taken, although it looks like Koecher's on the move. So these guys pretty well in tune. Meanwhile, a sizable attack from Washi in the west. These two guys matching each other stroke for stroke at the moment. Washi's going to pull back instead of risking getting those units obliterated by pushing any further. He has got a few problems in the central base. 3 Mantis making their way into the bowels of his territory as we speak. Picking off build capacity as they go. And that Engineer in the back is finally going to go down. Poor little chap after the narrow escape with the Hunter. And still Washi's got 2 Mantis to be concerned about at the back of his territory. But both these guys nabbing the side plateaus in good time, more or less in identical timing, in fact. Another few units being airdropped across the map. We've got 3 on board. And they're actually offensive units. Looks like at least 1 scout and a Striker. Potentially 2 scouts and a Striker. Going to be going directly after this. Actually, it's a Striker and a Lobo. A little bit of extra damage to help him take down these mexes quickly. I like this work. Washi. Always good to harass your opponent and keep him on his toes. Currently, Washi is ahead, 68 to 45 mass at current count. Let's take a look at reclaim figures, though. And I don't have the reclaim counter anymore because I've just got rid of Gaz UI because it was messing everything up. That's actually incredibly annoying. I probably have to re-enable that from the menu, so I actually can't take a look at that. Like I say, we're all very professional here at Gyle Cast. That's really annoying. But anyway, two sets of armies merging now. One over at the western edge of the map and one at the front of Washi's territory. Koecher actually has numbers up here. Doesn't want to stop though because he's going to be eating unnecessary amounts of artillery fire, getting caught up there. Those Lobos further back going to be dishing out a lot of damage. And Koecher looking to link up these two armies. There's a lot of build capacity that's likely to get popped here. They're trying to throw together some plasma cannons as quickly as possible. Only one or two of them left though to do that. Washi going to be taking some quite uncomfortable losses here, I think, at minute 11. Two mexes now going to be in jeopardy. Koecher repaying the favor from that drop just moments ago. That plasma cannon, though, in the starting location is completed. Another one on the way. There's another one in the center as well. So looking pretty strong. We do have Medusas, though, in this mix of units. So it could cause problems. Washi probably not going to give him a chance to do that. However, reinforcements pushing in from the central base section. And all in all, I think Washi has got off that one lightly. There were a lot of units pouring into his territory at the point of attack. We've actually got T2 ground tech in play now for Washi. He's primarily producing engineers and flak, at least initially. One skyboxer there in the middle. No doubt we'll see some mongoose and pillars arriving on the field soon. How does that equate with Koecher? Well, he's got T2 tech as well, already producing rhinos. And he's meanwhile trying to accomplish a bit of a run by at the back here. Washi trying to shut that down and pursue as those units go in around the back of the craters. Washi going to break off his pursuit and probably wants to think about getting some more units in on this side. There's a lot of vulnerable stuff back here. Definitely doesn't want to risk losing that T2 power generator that is nearly complete. Such a crucial bit of timing there, that first T2 P-gen, and to lose it just as it goes online or just before it completes and really stifle your economy. Washi trying to get a run by down here now, it looks like. Koecher redirecting his forces nicely, however, and also throwing up some static emplacements down here, especially after what happened with that cheeky little drop down the edge of the map. Koecher's run by still in operation. He's not going to push deep into the center of this base. He is threatening these T2 mexes at the back, however. He's just run out of units. Not a lot left. Certainly not enough to complete the attack. T2 mex is going to survive with 1,232 hit points. 20 to work with. Koecher, meanwhile, looking to thin out this body of troops down here at the bottom right-hand side. Does that very nicely indeed. Balance restored once again. And apart from the mexes in the middle, these three T1 mexes, and of course I suppose this one down here and the side ones, it's looking relatively even in terms of map control. Washi obviously doing a little bit better on upgrades than Koecher, having got less control over mass points, but well, up until just after I started saying that sentence, he was ahead on mass. But now we see pillars going to work. We do also have a rhino entering the fray. Rhino, though, 1,900 hit points versus the 1,500 for the pillar, which really does seem peculiar to me. Always has done. UEF typically seen as the tankier race. But I think I can tell you exactly where they are off the top of my head. But I think if you look at the stats, the pillar kicks out a little bit more damage than the rhino. Someone would like to confirm that for me. Shove that down in the comments section. An attack through the middle, though, from Washi. Picks off that mechs and the engineer loitering next to it. Swinging out to the right, going to grab that mechs to the east as well. And Washi once again in the lead, 103 mass to 92, and it's really bothering me not having access to the reclaim counter. It really does make such a fundamental difference to the game. And a lot of build capacity in harm's way, busy going about their business. Ground traffic control back at base on a donut break, allowing all of that build capacity to just wander directly into harm's way. Corsairs out on the field as well, though, so Koecher's made the transition to T2 air. Fighter bombers going to work on that pack there, picking off the T2 units, but just to bear in mind there are the odd unit of flak in there, the odd skyboxer. Incredibly efficient units, the mobile flak in this game. They really have to be to temper the role of air power. Over in the west, Washi looking like he wants to probe forward. Manages to pick off that mechs, but I don't think he's got enough firepower to break Koecher's line there. Gotta think about backing up slightly. He's looking relatively strong over in the east, though, just for the moment at least. Coming up to the 18-minute mark in this one, 124 mass to, and that changed a bit immediately, 115 mass to 112 was in favor of Washi, but it's fluctuating back and forth all the time. Essentially, these guys are nose to nose on eco. Koecher doing a little bit better in the power race. That's to be expected with the emergence of the fighter bomber. A little bit heavier air build coming out from Koecher, who's also losing build capacity over in the west. He's lost a lot of engineers in the last 3 or 4 minutes to Washi. But TAC missile battery in the center for Koecher, launching off towards Washi. Does he have any TMD? We have got buzzkills in the main base. They're not the most efficient things in the world. And there they go. Cybrin tactical missiles with their irritating split. Stay alive and pick off one of the T2 mechs at the back. Another barrage coming in, this time going for the T2 power generator. There that goes. What's that do to Washi's power? Well, that bottlenecks him hard. You can see it plummeting there around about the minus 400 to 500 net on current expenditure. Then he adjusts to deal with it, but that's going to hurt. And he's still got the problem of these TAC missile batteries, which are launching every time they complete a new missile. Got another one coming over here to the west, another 2 coming over here to the east. Take a look at what's going to happen there. Oh, one connects, but having taken 1 round of buzzkill fire, the firepower diminished slightly, so he's not able to complete the kill. Washi frantically building buzzkills everywhere. And he's losing things like mass storage and stuff, but generally able to keep most of the mechs online. It's definitely having an effect for the moment. He needed to reprioritize that one, get a second missile incoming. He would have taken it out. Brainwashed, how are you doing on power? He's still having problems. Needs to get that T2 P-Gen rebuilt as quickly as possible, but he has made the transition to T3 tech. He's still producing T2 engineers, at least for the moment, out of it. No doubt we'll be seeing some Percivals or Titans arrive soon. We've also got T3 tech on the field for Koecher. Here we go, bricks rolling out. So this game escalating very quickly now. We're into the later game phases. Washi having power problems though, down to 1.7. Needs to get that sorted out as soon as possible. And his main priorities at the moment are getting More units of TMD online. What he really needs to do is take care of that frickin' TAC missile battery. And that isn't actually TAC missile damage coming in there. That is Control K going on. Washi recycling some of the buildings he feels he doesn't need right now. More power plants going out, but in a different position over the eastern starting location this time instead of the core base. Sometimes you've just got to build next to where your engineers are at the given time. That often dictates your actions in this game more than maybe strategically safer locations, but still that TAC missile battery is sitting pretty. This right one here with 3 TAC missiles loaded in the clip, ready to go. 2 large armies forming for both of these guys, one at each flank now. Percival's in the mix for Washi there. I'm wondering whether he could just tear through this band now, prioritizing the Rhinos with the Percies, just allowing free fire for everything else. Koecher thinking about an attack up the middle. It's all T1 though. Shouldn't imagine anything will get done with that. And was that just a scouting party at the back there? Looked like interceptors getting shot down at the back. Corsairs coming in. Washi leaps to the defense, but not quickly enough. They're going straight after the T3 headquarters. And Washi, whose build currently seems to rely on extensive use of T3. We've got T3 factories emerging all over the place. They're all spitting out Percivals. He's going to want to keep that headquarters online, lest he lose access to that T3 tech and all of the other T3 factories. Brainwashed pushing on both sides now, one in the east, one in the west. There are bricks joining the fray over here at the western edge of the map, but the east still looks relatively light. We've got 1 brick left in the middle there. The Percies just need to take that out, which they are working on doing, and now all that we've got here is Mantis. The rest of Washi's units can come forward and could potentially start challenging this eastern base of Koecher's. Koecher perhaps having a little bit more success in the west, but the Percival is just so good at its role. Corsairs and interceptors flying overhead there from Koecher, trying to pile on what extra damage they can. Washi issues an attack order with his own air force, presumably going to go after the fighter bombers first. Koecher ready with a few units of flak, although it's mostly T1, just Sky Slammers, so these inties can afford a flyby. Not going to get too torn up by it. 1 unit, sorry, no, 3 units, 4 units in fact, of T2 PD for Koecher, who's really quite committed on holding on to this base, but they just don't do a lot of damage. Mass Percival versus a turtley Cybran base. You're going to give it to the Percivals all day. Brick rolling off the production line there. He's going to need a few more of those. Corsairs coming in to pile on the pressure, and more Percies. They must have come down the center of the map. Just 2 shots from a Percival. Destroy those units of point defense. They just are so strong, and they really have to be. They are the direct fire equivalent of an experimental for UEF. Of course, they don't have a direct fire experimental. And There goes the eastern base for Koecher, who's keeping up with things mass-wise, though. 156 to 147 in favor of Brainwashed. That's not too bad, considering he's just lost that eastern base, however. Now it looks like we've got something coming south. I thought it was a attack missile for a moment. There's actually a Demolisher T3 Mobile RT sitting in the center of the map there, just trying to pile on the damage at any units that happen to wander into its range. One unit of Percival dispatched to go out further east and pick off these other units. Lots of build capacity sitting around here for Koecher. They're just going to get blapped one at a time by that Percival. It's a beautiful sight. It really is. So much build capacity coming in around the back of these craters as well. Throwing up a radar. Koecher really wanting to get his hands on this mass here. There's a lot to be had, it has to be said. It would be worth Brainwashed just getting one or two units down here to pick up this build capacity as quickly as possible. See what this looks like from Washi's perspective. He's noticed all of the build capacity coming in. He says, nope. No, 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 no. No mass for you. Filthy, filthy Cybran engineers. Go home. There they go. Racism is only okay when you're talking about SOPCOM races. Otherwise, it's a very bad thing. And once again, all is quiet as these players prepare for the next round of aggression. And Koecher feels like he's got enough bricks to engage with now. Those bricks marching forward. Washi prioritizing targets, picking off one and then moving on to another. Definitely the most efficient way to go when you're facing this kind of makeup. Worry about free firing later if he manages to deal with all of the bricks. Whether or not he can pull that off though with what he's got, I do not know. Just a handful of Percivals left now at the edge of the map. More Corsairs coming in over the top. Unfortunately, more bricks coming in for Washi at the back. That's going to be the end of those units, at least for the moment. More reinforcements coming in down the eastern edge, but now a push over in the west. Washi not allowing Koecher any breathing room now whatsoever. He could probably afford to push this. Just 4 bricks in this pack. He doesn't need to be backing up, not with the amount of Percivals he's got. Definitely wants to rub this base out, but we've got strap bombers overhead for Koecher. He's made the transition to T3 air. And that's in comparison to Washi that hasn't even started the transition to T2. That could be a game changer right there. Koecher probably should think about taking that strap bomber and just picking off mexes. He could get so much done. We've also got a Monkey Lord on the field now, and this is what I'm talking about. This Monkey Lord now inbound for Washi. And that will help Koecher secure this western flank. Washi could already have taken this out. I'm more or less certain of it with what he had on the field. Of course, the benefit of vision cannot be underestimated. We can see absolutely everything. Washi not able to see anywhere near as much of the field as we can. And the intel up front, now it's not too bad now actually, to be honest. Borderlining around here, but you can see the black spots down here where he didn't get any real intel coverage of the area. But this is going to be crucial for Washi now, how well he's able to defend against this experimental coming up the western edge. Percival's amassing underneath the shield, and it might look terrifying, but the Percivals dish out so much damage. And Monkey Lords, as far as experimentals go, are paper thin. Did manage to take a few of them out, but down he goes, and that's not in bad territory for Washi to be able to reclaim either. I'd love to know what the reclaim figures are on this one. Koecher presenting a nice broad face of troops there to Washi's line, getting the better of the engagement. Revenant still causing problems overhead there for Koecher. Washi doing what he can to tidy them up with his inties, but he's now operating at a major disadvantage in the air game. We now at least have T2 air in play for Washi, but he's going straight for T3. Definitely the wise idea. Needs to get ASFs in the picture. Washi, though, getting away from Koecher in the eco game now, 244 to 196. I think that's a direct result of what's been going on at this side of the map. All of these mexes taken out of commission by Washi. And Koecher trying to get some of his mass back. He's going to sacrifice those engineers. Whether or not that was worth it, I don't know. I mean, he would have covered, more than covered, the amount of mass it would have cost to produce those engineers, but it's about whether you could have done something better with them in the long run. Koecher obviously felt that was the way to go. Saying Percy's are better than allies. Only if you're controlling the bro. Certainly when I'm allied with Washi, that would be the case. But a second Monkey Lord pushing its way up the western edge of the map now. But Washi actually knocking on Koecher's front door with a bunch of Percival's. Koecher bringing out a new unit of bricks to engage. More importantly, all of this reclaim going into Washi's coffers for the moment. Needs to turn these Percivals around, though, and get them engaged. He's taking unnecessary losses right now. And once again, good formation from Koecher. Gets him a few extra kills. Meanwhile, up here, the Monkey Lord still operational. 39 kills on that puppy so far. Up to 40, but doesn't get any rank of veterancy. Percival's get the job done. Another Monkey Lord down, and an even better location. But to be fair, Koecher is now recycling the first one. This is the real difference between the pros and the Joes. The pros recognize the importance of reclaim, and even in the heat of battle, take every opportunity they can to get their build capacity in play so that they can pick up that mass, produce more stuff, and hurl it at their poor opponent. "37 minutes gone in this one so far. We've now got Stingers on the field, T2 gunships for the UEF from Brainwashed going after the bricks, but there's far too many ASFs loitering around this area from Koecher. They're not going to get anything serious done. And now we have T3 air for Washi. He's going after Wasp production in a big way. But he has lost this western base. All four of those mechs is out of commission for the moment. Koecher's allowing him to hold on to these two T2 mexes. Mild error there, just one brick sent down here will take care of them. Percy's coming forward, trying to stop Koecher from getting any more of this reclaim. And to Koecher's credit, he's pushing back in the east. Another Monkey Lord, this time making its way up the opposite side of the map. Koecher spitting these out now. We've got a crab on the way. That's 75% complete. That might cause major issues for Washi. We've also got a Fatboy under construction. This will be about 45% complete or so. So many Percivals. It really is an incredibly erogenous, erotic sight, those Percivals. Gyle, you're doing sex wrong. What are you talking about? I don't know. I have more love than is probably healthy for those units. But once again, the action subsides and we're left with largely battered, war-torn battlefield. Having said that, it actually looks pretty pristine in places. Both of these guys doing a really good job of getting to that mass and hoovering it up. And now indeed we have that megalith online, pushing its way out east. How long on that Fatboy? That could be a decent counter to it. Well, that's nearly complete. Washi's going to need to get that into the fray as soon as possible, because it's not going to be too long before these Percivals, potentially these Demolishers, start feeling the heat of those awesome cannons. Koecher's thinking, yeah, you better run. Lots of strat bombers piling up back here for Koecher. Strat bombers, of course, an exceptionally good counter to Fatboys. Does Washi have enough ASF coverage online yet? Well, it's not great. How's he doing on power? He's building more power plants. He's just about got his nose above water. Koecher's going to be aware there's a fatty on the field. How does he respond? He immediately responds by launching the strats and the Corsairs, enabling the stealth on the strats to get them a better run at this experimental. In they come. We'll slow it down to normal speed, and surely that Fatboy's not going to last the day. Shield hit points evaporating. Washi brings in his air force, such as it is, to try and defend. But the shield now depleted, and the Revenant's bombs landing squarely on top of the Fatboy, down to 5,300 hit points. That really is very little indeed. And there's two more strats on the field, and that will be enough to kill it off. At least that wreck is in good standing location for Washi, who's deciding now to go in with his Percivals and try and gun down this megalith that peculiarly isn't moving. Koecher should be backing this bad boy up. So much firepower incoming. Megalith has to be nearly dead, surely. Bricks coming in though to support from the left from Koecher. So many hit points on that megalith. There it goes. Leaving only a handful of Percivals alive. With the bricks coming in to support, and this looks a very bad situation indeed for Washi. Vulnerable right flank potentially now. He's trying to shift units over that way as we speak. The question is, will he get it in there in time? Another Fatboy on the way. 7,200 hit points out of 12,500. Washi's comm sitting under shield up here. He's not moving it. Obviously feels he can rebuff this attack. 43 minutes gone in this one so far. There really isn't a lot of defense under that shield. I'm concerned for your life, Washi. Lots of bricks coming in as well. The Percival seems so far away. bump this up to +1, I feel. And they arrive in the nick of frickin' time. A few units of engineers trying to get out to that wreck. And actually going to be able to, thanks to the forced retreat of those bricks. What's happening in the west, meanwhile? Well, a vulnerable position for Washi, who's had to shift right with more units than he would have liked to prevent the push of that Monkey Lord getting into the main base. Washi actually significantly ahead en masse. Unable to turn that into an advantage on the field, at least for the moment. How many Percies are we looking at in game? We've got 35 Percies on the field at the moment for Washi, and 32 bricks on the field for Koecher, who has also been investing in strat bombers, don't forget, and ASFs, and of course regular amounts of experimentals. And we've got another one on the way, this time a Soul Ripper, and that's very nearly complete. And that could really seal Washi's fate in this one. Neither of these guys wanting to commit to anything too dangerous at the moment. They're just waiting to see what the other player is going to do. In come the Revenants, though, from Koecher, going straight up the middle, going after what I don't know. It could be just a ruse, though, to pull the fighters away from the Fatboy, so that Bender, rather affectionately named there by Koecher, the Soul Ripper T4 gunship, can blast the brand new Fatboy and then just go to town on the horde of Percival's. That AoE so devastating on large, tightly grouped units. And Washi says something in German. The German's a little rusty, couldn't tell you what that says. But he says, well played, and Control K's is calm, knowing that he was beaten. Wow, very entertaining game that. 47.5 minutes. Really hope you enjoyed that one, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.